How would a parent know that their child has been molested or has been abused, right? How would the parent know that?
Okay, so there are both physical and behavioral signs that may give you an indication that a child has been molested. So when we talk about the behavioral signs, a child who just suddenly constantly becomes aggressive, a child who maybe was quite peaceful or gentle before, and the slightest thing, the child is irritable, the child is aggressive, and to you is like there's no cause for this aggression that this child is displaying. So you have that.
Okay.
A child who now becomes unusually clingy. Every time the child doesn't want to be left alone, just holds on to your dress, like don't leave me here, take me where you're going. Or it could be that the child even becomes withdrawn. Child doesn't want to, participate in anything and just wants to be alone. You might be asking questions, what's going on with this child? You also have a child who constantly, just all of a sudden, begins to avoid certain places or a certain individual. That could give you an indication. You're like, this child used to be fond of this auntie or this uncle before, and all of a sudden you say we're going to see Auntie M, Uncle B, and she's like, no, I don't want to go. And she's crying, or he or she is crying, is putting up a fuss, throwing a tantrum that they don't want to go to school, or they don't want to go to that particular place, or to see that particular individual.
Yes,
that's a red flag. You should be asking questions. A child who is constantly in low mood, that's another thing. The child is not excited about anything anymore. The child just wants to just be by themselves. That comes hand in hand, with the withdrawal.
Yes.
And then you have inappropriate sexual behavior, or even language. Then you're asking, where did this child learn these things from? What exactly is going on with this child? And then we go on to then maybe even lack of self-esteem.
Okay.
A child who used to be boisterous, vocal,
bold.
all of a sudden is, bold, all of a sudden is fearful, walks around with their shoulders drooped, doesn't even want to engage you with the eye contact and all of that. Then we're also asking, what happened to this child? And so we go on to the physical signs.
Okay.
You have a child who has successfully crossed, the bedwetting stage. All of a sudden, that's bedwetting again, and you're asking, what's going on here? A child who is constantly having nightmares, and all forms of sleep and eating disturbances. Then you have a child complaining of soreness in their genital area. I mean, that's a very vivid sign, like what's going on, what happened to you down there. And then you have vaginal or penile discharge. That's very unusual for children.
Yes.
So, and even a child who comes down with urinary tract infection, it also causes for further question and probing. And bleeding from the anal or genital area as well. Or the child complains of pain during urination. These are, a combination of all these would require you to probe and ask questions.